It's Wednesday morning, 15th of April, and we're towards the end, hopefully, of the first phase of the coronavirus crisis. And the government are now talking about a major economic crisis, at least according to the Office of Financial Responsibility in the government. They've drawn their conclusions from existing statistical information and evidence, and they've suggested that there is going to be a very, very bad time for us all. And they're right. If they draw their information from all existing and current sources available to them. But they've missed something. They've missed me. Now, that may sound egotistical, so I'll explain. For the last 20 odd years, I've been working on the fringes of the finance and banking sector, looking at the economic conditions in this country, the economic crisis from 2008 onwards, and how we might resolve the ongoing problems of prosperity, of austerity, recession, and so much more. And I've begun building an appropriate financial and banking model for this country. It's a new and unique model that could resolve many of the fundamental problems we face today. And I've been finalising that plan over the last 2 or 3 years in view of the potential tremendous opportunities of Brexit and the opportunity to revitalise and re-energise our economy and set it off in new directions. And then we get coronavirus. I want to try and explain it to you in very simple terms. Imagine there is a huge reservoir of available credit, which there is in the banking and financial sector. And we want to bring it into Britain to stimulate growth, to stimulate new prosperity, new industry. Now, what we've got to do is to open the gates to bring the capital into the UK. At the moment, I'm working on opening a small gate, a series of small specialist projects around something which I now call Stockport Powerhouse, which will allow us to bring a small amount of money, relatively small amount of money, into our local economy. My job this year was to be raising public finance from ordinary private investors to build the pipeline which brings that cash through our small gate into our regional economy. If the government are prepared to open the big gates now rather than wait for me to prove my case on a larger scale, then it's possible to bring the bulk of that capital that is available into the UK economy far more quickly. This could offset a lot of, if not all, the damage from coronavirus, not just in the UK, but the subsequent ripple effects and shockwaves that we're likely to feel around the world economy, the enormous stresses on the American economy, on the Chinese economy, and then we've got to consider the possibilities and the threats of Brexit and the tremendous opportunities. It's building the pipelines, bringing the cash flow from the available sources that are out there where there is enough money to offset all the damage to the UK economy and bring it into Britain quickly. That's the challenge that I've been looking at over the last few weeks. While everyone else, of course, has been deeply concerned about coronavirus and how we deal with it, I've been concerned about what do we do next? How do we reboot our economy? How do we restructure it, reorganise it and re-equip it for the future? It's not just a matter of getting back on our feet and going back to the good old days. There weren't any good old days. It's a matter of vastly improving the productive capability of this country with new projects, new industries and new large-scale industrial and economic investment. The money's there. We can build the pipelines. I can build the pipelines subject to having the resources to do so and subject to the government being willing to open the gates for us. When that happens, the money will flow and the economy will flow again. Right now, the Office of Budget Responsibility is talking about a massive economic crisis because they and the system is paralysed. I believe I can model the right answers that will stimulate cash flow and will stimulate economic growth, whether we do it locally with our own small gate or whether we do it nationally by opening the big gates. And that's up to the government to decide whether or not they want to get involved. I'm talking to local government and local agencies, and I'll be appealing to the public to come and invest to build our own little pipeline into the cash. But we can bring in much, much more. We can revolutionise the entire economy. The cash is there. It's just sitting there waiting to be used in the right fashion. We have to build the pipelines. We have to open the gates. So this is what we ought to be thinking about in the next few weeks. whether or not we just want to continue pottering on the way we are, or whether or not we want to look seriously about large-scale economic regeneration of the British economy. And maybe then we can set a lead to the rest of the world. So that's my answer to today's news crisis. We do not necessarily have to face a massive austere recession over the next few months and years. The cash is there. We just have to open the gates for it.